You are looking at the perfect Christmas present. An amazing product of advanced technology that you could never, ever give at Christmas before. The incredible new Spectra system from Polaroid.
Clear, crisp, and bright. 7-Up has the feeling of Christmas.
On the first day of Christmas, I left the Hallmark store with a stuffed toy named Rodney Reindeer. On the next day, I bought Rhonda, and then I added more.
It's Christmas time again! Haha! Woo! Yeah! Jesus! Or whatever this fucking holiday's about. Yeah! Now, I know that last year we had a bit of an existential crisis.
And that's not f***ing fair.
But that's not going to happen this year, I swear. No, instead I think we're going to talk about something safe. Something easy. I mean, it is Christmas after all. How hard could it be to find something simple and that doesn't predicate an existential crisis? Charlie Brown Christmas? No, too religious. Home Alone? Child abandonment's a little touchy. Die Hard, which is most definitely a Christmas movie and no one can convince me otherwise? Nah, I don't want to have that conversation. Oh, but what about this? Yeah. Batman. I've talked about Batman at length on this channel. Some of the first videos I ever did were on the Rocksteady Arkham trilogy. The first all-nighter I ever pulled was to finish my Arkham Knight video, and boy oh boy, have I improved since. But Arkham Origins was released in the interim between Arkham City and Arkham Knight. Rocksteady was hard at work on the biggest Batman game ever made, and believe it or not, it was taking a little time. So, developer WB Montreal was tasked with making a prequel game in order to fill the gap. Origins is set about 5 years prior to Arkham Asylum and showcases many of Batman's first encounters with several of his most famous adversaries. As the box itself says, your enemies will define you.
It's so hard to hide the kid inside with Christmas and O-R-E-O.
But most importantly, it's set during Christmas! And not only is it Christmas, it's a superhero story, and those are a safe bet, right? Bad guys do bad things, good guy punches bad guy in the face, everyone goes home to a warm cup of hot chocolate and a seat beside the fire. This should be easy. The story of Arkham Origins is a simple one. It's Christmas Eve and Batman hasn't quite established himself as a fixture in Gotham City yet, and the criminal Black Mask wants to keep it that way. So he puts a $50 million bounty on Batman's head, which is picked up by 9 highly skilled assassins. Now Batman has to stop these assassins from hurting innocent people to get to him, and subsequently put Black Mask behind bars. It's a pretty typical Batman story. Bad guy does bad things, Batman will punch him in the face, and everyone goes home and eats a Christmas ham made by Alfred himself. But this time, it's a video game. So you get the catharsis of punching all these people in the face yourself. It's perfect. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire game. You just run around and punch a few people in the face. That's it. Nothing else to see. Wow, that was pretty short. I chose a good thing to talk about, didn't I? All right, are we done? Huh?
It's good to know I can still find the perfect present at Mervin's today.
No, that's not right.
McDonald's Chicken McNuggets.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Was supposed to be simple. Punch the bad guy, go home. That's what this was supposed to be. There's this weird emptiness to the game. I know there's like a snowstorm and everything, which is supposed to explain why only criminals and cops are out and about rather than any actual citizens of Gotham, but it results in a city that just feels empty.
What do you know of justice? Behind bars or beyond them, these people never change. As long as they live, Gotham is stained.
One of the most interesting things about this game to me is that out of all 4.5 Arkham games, this is the only one where Gotham City itself is an enemy. What I mean is that the primary enemies Batman fights in this game are enabled or created by the systems of Gotham City, particularly its criminal justice system and its thoroughly corrupted police force, one that views Gotham as a lost cause that isn't worth saving. So they've come to believe that they might as well line their pockets instead, and as such, this is the only game in the series where the police are active enemies to Batman. One of the main missions even has him breaking into GCPD to get access to the National Criminal Database, and that results in a lot of unconscious cops. This stands in stark contrast to Arkham Asylum, City, or Night, where the police are always allies save for the occasional traitor. Even Gordon, who seeks to clean up the police force, doesn't trust Batman and is therefore an enemy to him. You could argue that the other games had elements of Gotham's corruption in them, but the active enemies of those games were still private individuals and enterprises. Arkham Asylum was a private facility run by Quincy Sharp. Arkham City was a private facility run by Hugo Strange and patrolled by a private mercenary group. Gotham corruption might have enabled these facilities to run the way they did, but Gotham itself wasn't an enemy Batman was fighting against. It wasn't in direct opposition to his efforts as it is in Origins. Origins is about digging into the dark heart of Gotham's institutions along with all the people who want to make it better, the ones who'd like it to stay just the way it is, and the people going to extremes to tear it all down. Not only is Gotham itself an enemy, it also creates enemies like Anarchy and Riddler, known in this game as Enigma, the villains of two of the game's central side missions. Both of these characters are fully aware of Gotham's corruption, and they seek to destroy the city in their own ways. Enigma has a plethora of blackmail that would cause Gotham to tear itself apart, and Anarchy wants to literally blow up the institutions he sees as the root of the problem, specifically Gotham's bank, casino, and police station. And the weird part about all this is that they're not totally wrong. You see it firsthand as you play. Corruption and inequality pervade Gotham's landscape. Gotham creates people who want to destroy it, and really, why shouldn't they? Wealthy criminals live lives of luxury in penthouses while they watch the poor saps who work for them duke it out for their entertainment. But their plans wouldn't work. These people think they have it figured out, but they aren't doing anything. Even if Batman didn't stop them, their actions would hurt far more innocents than it would their real targets. Destroying Gotham isn't the answer, so what is the answer? Is there an answer?
Happy holidays from StoryStreet.
Batman. Alright, things are getting simpler now. Batman is the hero of our story, the man who will swoop in and save Gotham from all this stuff. The criminals, the corruption, they will all go away because Batman's here to get rid of them. Punch the bad guy, go home. Right? This is a young Batman, a new Batman, an angry, imprecise, and prideful Batman, a violent, cold, and uncaring Batman.
When the mugger or the thief stops to think twice, that is fear. That is what I am. That is why they hired assassins, because I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises.
This Batman isn't a Batman who can save Gotham. This isn't a Batman who can fix it. This is a Batman who only thinks he can save Gotham. As Alfred so plainly puts it,
"You're not some hardened vigilante. You're a young man with a trust fund and too much anger. You're in over your head, and I don't want this to be your end."
This is a Batman defined by anger. Anger at a world that took away his family. We all know this story, the tragic fate of the Waynes, gunned down in an alleyway by a simple mugger, a mugger who was the result of a city and a system that didn't care about whether or not he survived. And that result took away Bruce Wayne's only family. The world failed him, and he was left alone. Bruce was knocked down that night, and Batman was the one who got up. The angry, prideful vigilante who views himself as the only thing standing between the innocent and the predatory, because if he's not, who is? There was no one there to stand between his parents and that gun. There was no one there to stand between him and that loss, but now there is for everyone else, because Bruce believes that there should have been to begin with. And as a result, he pushes people away, rejects any sincere concern, even from the man who raised him. He's a one-man army who doesn't have time for that. He's the one who fights so that the rest of the city can enjoy those pleasantries. This is a war. He is a soldier. Sincerity is an obstacle. People who care are an obstacle. There is no room for that in the embodiment of fear. Batman is an impulse reaction to a broken world. Batman is a simple solution to a complex problem, and simple solutions are not enough. Batman can punch as many people as he wants, but that doesn't stop corruption, that doesn't stop pain, that doesn't stop people like Joe Chill from ending up on the streets with nothing but a gun in a desperate bid for survival. Batman may push them down, but they'll just keep getting back up. They always come back, and Gotham will keep churning out new ones, and no matter what Batman does, he can't stop that. Batman maintains this world. He is a maintaining force. He keeps the criminals alive. He doesn't strike at the heart of the problem. He doesn't go after these institutions. He doesn't change things. He doesn't fix the problem. He just reacts to its symptoms. He stops things from getting worse, but he doesn't make anything better. He protects, but he doesn't save. So what do? How do we change things? How do we make things better?
What would your father say if he could see you throwing away your family's hard-earned fortune on these frivolous nightly escapades?
Maybe we don't. The Joker is amoral, destructive, and an absolute menace to everyone around him, and he's loving it. The Joker is ironic. He's a happy face in the midst of pain, a smile built on death and suffering. It's unmerited and insincere, but it's something. It's far less painful and far more joyous. Why tirelessly search for something to be happy about in such a cruel world when you can instead just change what it is that makes you happy? Even if that happiness is really just a thin veil shrouding rage and malice. You see, the Joker embodies the idea of the facade. Facades exist everywhere in Arkham Origins, acting as barriers hiding the truth just behind them. It is Bruce Wayne hiding behind Batman. It is the GCPD hiding behind police's heroic image. It is the world hiding behind the joy and wonder of Christmas. It's the Joker hiding behind the Black Mask. It wasn't Black Mask who hired those assassins, it was Joker, hiding in plain sight, murderous, horrible, and wearing a smile through it all. The Joker has seen through the facade of the world, and when you do that, the only thing you can do to stay sane is to laugh in its face. In fact, I'm not sure we aren't seeing a Joker here with a death wish. A Joker who's come face to face with what defines our world and who has no interest in changing it. No desire to fix it, he just wants to blow up as much as he can on his way out. Try to take some joy in that before the end. And the way this Joker came to be reflects that. In a sequence that uses some pretty obvious references to the most famous version of Joker's origin, Alan Moore's The Killing Joke. In it, Joker was just a man with a dream. He wanted to quit his job as a blue-collar chemical plant worker and be a stand-up comedian. He wanted to make people laugh, help them forget their woes and troubles for an evening. But no one laughed. Desperate to provide for a pregnant wife, he sees no other option but to take on the mantle of the Red Hood and guide a group of criminals into the chemical plant he used to work in. And when things go wrong and Batman himself shows up, this man falls into a vat of chemicals and is left to die. That man was knocked down that night, and the Joker was the one who got up. The world failed him, and he was left alone.
You just can't get it through your thick skull. We both exist because of them.
Batman could have saved him that night, but he didn't. Batman let the world create the Joker, and he chooses to save the Joker instead of letting him fall to his death because Batman maintains and Joker destroys. It is the only thing that separates them. They are both victims of a filthy, wretched world that doesn't care about either of them or anyone else. Batman may not be as destructive as the Joker, but he is complicit in the world's wrongdoings. He doesn't save anyone, he just maintains the world as it is. This is not okay. People are still getting hurt. The world is still pushing out Jokers, and we are letting it happen. Society doesn't give a shit. Nothing works. We can't stop it. We can't fix it. It's broken, but we can't fix it because we're not allowed to fix it, and every attempt we make just breaks it more. This isn't what I wanted this to be. This isn't what I wanted. Why can't it just be? please just let me enjoy Christmas this year. Why can't I just...
I have left enough life in him for some final words. If you hurry. Alfred!
Alfred! Alfred!
And that's not f***ing fair.
Don't add me to the weight you carry.
People die. I tried. I really did. Christmas is a pillar of insincerity. The prime example of society taking something genuine and making it ingenuine. What is a supposedly religious holiday is nothing more than a consumerist's paradise. Because when we try to change things, when we try to make something good or happy, it will forever be co-opted by a world that doesn't actually care, even if they say they do. Twisted into something that will let the authorities of the world profit from it. I said in the last Christmas video that Christmas could mean anything you wanted it or needed it to mean, but should it? Is that not just an excuse to participate in this holiday of indulgence and distraction while the world falls apart just outside our windows? Christmas isn't the problem, but is it not indicative of the problem? We want things to be simple. We want to be able to just punch the bad guy and go home, but we can't. Because it doesn't work that way, because simple solutions don't fix complex problems, but what other solutions do we have? Perhaps there's not much more we can do than what Joker did. Acknowledge the facade as what it is and have as much fun as we can on the way out. You know, why spend time caring? Why spend time being sincere? Why spend time being genuine? It's all just a facade, a mask, a fake that we're trying too hard to fix when it can't be fixed. So instead, let's just admit the irony of it all. Laugh at the misfortunes of the rest of the world. And have some fun while watching the destruction. Irony and sincerity. That's where it's at. That's easy. That is funny. Caring's not funny. Sincerity's definitely not funny. So let's stop doing it. It's that simple. After all, isn't the world just one big joke? Okay, let's start rebranding. StoryStreet, what kind of lame-o came up with that? All right, let's just... Ah, there we go, Joker Street. I like it better already. It's all a joke, all one big setup and punchline. This is so much easier than before. Oh, but what do we do? What do we talk about on Joker Street? I got it. Let's look at the suffering statistics this week. Oh, well, would you look at that? Everyone's dying, the world on fire, no one with any real power is doing anything to fix it. That's fucking hilarious. Isn't this so much better than trying, caring? All this suffering, all this pain, that would make me brood like a bat before, but now it's all just funny. Who cares that the world's more alone than ever? I feel sorry for whatever Trump still thinks any of that matters, or at least I would if I cared. Oh, it's all just so funny.
Come on, damn it.
Can't stop them. No, you can't. Not on your own, but it's high time you realize that you are a man, not an island. And a man's strength comes not from just brawn and intelligence, but also from his allies.
One alert. The Joker has escaped from his cell and is leading the riots at Blackie. Repeat, the Joker has taken over the entire prison. Multiple casualties. Multiple hostages. Again, we have lost Blackie. Captain Gordon is calling on anyone. Anyone wants to...
No. There's still more to be said. There are only two ways to be truly alone. When you live your life by maintaining current circumstance or destroying everything around you. That is when you're truly alone. That is when connections cannot be made. That is when you cannot fix the world around you. We cannot form bonds if we are breaking them. We cannot change the world if it's left in ruins or ignored. The truth of it all, the truth of this game, the truth we must embrace is that we cannot just maintain. We cannot just destroy. We must create. And we can only create if we care, if we're sincere, if we're genuine, because caring enables creation. Creation enables connection, and connection enables change. At the end of the game, Joker escapes Blackgate and Batman faces him, being given a choice.
But you will. You will fight me with all your resolve, or you will die. Someone is going to die. You, me, or the clown. The question of which one of us it is in your hands.
Joker tries to force Batman to see that the only path forward is destruction. This is the only thing we can do. But it's not. And Batman has learned the other option. He uses his shock gloves, the force of destruction up to this point, and he uses it to stop Bane's heart and then restart it again. He doesn't just destroy, he doesn't maintain, he brings life. He creates. And it's only then that Gordon chooses to help Batman, beginning their lifelong partnership, all because he chose to create. Because that is how we move forward. That is how we inspire. That is how we change this broken world. Not by just destruction or maintenance, but by creation. We take the pain that's been thrust onto us and we turn it into something better. After all, is that not what Batman is supposed to be? A little boy who lost everything. And a man who decided to take that loss and make something better. I know I'll be here. Even if it might be painful, even if it hurts worse than the other way, but if there's a chance to change things, we have to take it. And if we all choose to create, lift people up instead of pushing them down, accept people as they are instead of forcing them away, listen and love instead of reject and hate, we'll never really be alone. Because creation connects us in ways we may never be able to see, but are real all the same. And if we do that, well, who knows what could happen.
Maybe I can give them something to believe in. Maybe he can give them something to believe in.